Hey, fight fans, thanks for joining us and welcome to The Weigh-In, the show that spotlights the latest MMA bouts and the topics surrounding the sport. I'm Dorian, Mr. MMA Hernandez, and with me as always is Nathan Tyrone.
Thanks for joining us, fight fans. And today we're going to bring to you a segment we call The Truth About, where we spotlight some of the more high-impact topics facing the sport today. And today we're going to spotlight one of the most dominant champions in the UFC today, who is Ronda Rousey. We're going to spotlight and give our opinions on the truth as we see it about Ronda Rousey. We're going to start off with Mr. MMA.
The reason why we picked her more than anything is because as of recent, with her last few victories, she's been compared to Mike Tyson. And not because of how dominantly she's beating her opponents, but because of the fact that she's been defeating her opponents so quickly that a lot of people are questioning why they even spent the money on the pay-per-view. So we decided we're going to touch on that topic and not only give our opinion on why you should be buying it, but just to give you a little headline of what's been going on with her. In 11 professional MMA fights, she has won all of them, but 2 by submission. The aforementioned 2 were by TKO and KO, just not too long ago, actually, of Alexis Davis and Sarah McMahon. But let's talk about some of the other accolades that she has. 3 performance of the nights, 1 submission of the night, 1 fight of the night honors, which has brought her $250,000 in bonus cash. Okay, the average MMA fight is 15 minutes, and this woman has only averaged 2 minutes and 27 seconds in the cage. Okay, she has beaten her last 3 opponents with a little bit over a minute and a half, a minute 36 to be exact. She beat Alexis Davis by 16 seconds. She beat Kat Zingano by 14 seconds. Like I said, it's unbelievable, her talent and the way she's been defeating her opponents. But ultimately, is this something that should be held against her, or held against her opponents for not being of adequate caliber, or maybe I guess you could say them even the simple mistakes that they made? Because I don't really think that they were put in the cage for not having the right caliber. It was just in the end, you know, the cream always rises to the top. But more than anything, people are trying to wonder, why should I spend, $50, $60 on a pay-per-view for a match that finishes within a matter of seconds? And I have a couple of reasons behind why you should. One of my reasons is that it's not the only fight on the card, folks. Okay, most cards, whether it be on Fight Night or whether it be a UFC pay-per-view, there's at least 5 fights on that card, and all those fights are usually worth watching. I'm not gonna lie. Some might end up being boring because of the actual way the fighters perform, but up until you actually watch them perform, these were interesting fights and fights that you wanted to sit down and see who would win. My second reason, it's not her fault. She happens to be more skilled than her opponents. Okay, one of the biggest threats with Rousey has been her judo expertise, and she even brought it up one time in the open press conference, press workouts, when she was about to fight Alexis Davis, when they asked her how does she feel about being a representative of judo, and she said it was great, but she didn't want to be the stone in which everybody wanted to hit their head on. There's a lot of different judokai out there, and each one has their own expertise. She's been studying that martial art for 20 plus years and is now learning how to incorporate it into MMA. So it's like learning a new martial art altogether. So how are her opponents going to learn her 20 plus years of expertise, let alone what she's learning new in acclimating it to MMA? So, this girl's got a great head on her shoulders. She's got the physical prowess and skills to back it up. So you can't really hold it against her that she's defeating her opponents in such quick time. My third reason, she's helping put MMA on the map, let alone as a sport and for women. Okay, and more than anything, you can't knock that. Okay, that no matter, she is a great example of what a true athlete, what a true dedicated person and professional is, and more than anything is broadening out this sport in 2 different ways, for women and for the sport itself. My fourth biggest reason why you should still order pay-per-views that she's on, you're guaranteed to see something memorable, even if it may be brief. you're going to see something memorable. Okay, this girl has astonished me since the first day I set eyes on her. I happened to root against her when she was in Strikeforce and facing Sarah Kaufman because I was a huge Sarah Kaufman fan. Yeah. I thought that the only other person on the planet who could defeat Sarah Kaufman or even have a chance was Cyborg Santos. And then I watched Rousey destroy her in, I believe, a minute 32 in the first round. Yeah. Okay, so let's not kid ourselves, folks. Yes, she's very similar to Mike Tyson because he defeated and finished his opponents early. But like I said, it's a chance thing. Anything could have happened. It could have easily gone the other way, and she would have been the loss, and we wouldn't even be doing a fighter spotlight. A truth about her. But ultimately, is she worth always investing in that $50 or $60 to watch? And I believe yes, because no matter what, she's an ambassador of this sport. She's an ambassador of women, and she's definitely a huge ambassador of what it is to be a champion.
Yeah, those are very, very apt and fair descriptions of our champion. And what a champion she is. She is one of the most noticeable sports people, and that just elevates everything about MMA. She's a movie star, she's a model, and she's one hell of a champion. And I really got nothing bad to say about Ronda Rousey, but let's play devil's advocate. That $60 is a heavy thing to pay, and if you can see all of Ronda Rousey's fights multiple times in a 1-minute replay, then do you really think you're going to miss anything? Just watch the highlight reel. Her whole fight is a highlight reel. You got to clunk down the money, and ultimately you get like a couple minutes or certain cases, a couple seconds of a fight, a devastating, beautiful fight that it usually is, but it's always over quickly. And these are things that some of the fight fans are not willing to pay for, and they'll just watch the highlight reel because the highlight reel will be the fight. Another being the downside, in my opinion, for what it would be for Ronda Rousey herself. Sometimes she's double billed as the champion, as one of the most noticeable champions in the sport. She gets double billed. She doesn't hold her own on a card because her fights are so quick. So a lot of times you'll see another champion defending their belt right before her fights, so that the UFC can give the fight fan a really good card. But that's got to be a negative thing for Rousey, because with 2 championship fights on one card, you're not getting the biggest purse you possibly could. Currently Ruthless Robbie Lawler suffers from that same problem. He's just not able to fill the seats. Rousey can fill the seats. She can put asses in seats. But how many times are you going to pay for a pay-per-view that's over quicker than you can blink your eye? And another thing is, she is growing. She's growing rapidly. In her last 3 fights, I think especially she's shown more than a variety of skills, not just the reliance on that ever-present armbar. But if someone can get beyond that, will she have the skill sets to continue? I happen to think yes. I'm just playing devil's advocate. But that's a huge question. She needs to become more versatile. She needs to show us a little more. And, the competition just isn't there. Like Mr. MMA said, she is decades deep into the judo thing. She's a judo champion, and she's steadily progressing in MMA. Her next fight with Beth Korea is not one that I'm necessarily excited for. It's one that I'll definitely watch because I just love to watch Ronda Rousey fight. But I don't think Beth Korea is going to be the greatest competition for her, and I do think it's going to be another quick fight. And how many of these quick fights are fight fans going to, shell out their money for and not just read the next day on your favorite MMA website or listen to the weigh-in to hear what happened in the fight, or just watch the replay? Like I say, her whole fight is a highlight reel. And, these are positives and negatives about Ronda Rousey per se, and we want to know also what you think. What do you think about the big champ Ronda Rousey, okay? I'm going to throw this back one more time before we close out to Mr. MMA.
And just to let you guys know, the UFC has seen this, though, and seen that people have been talking about it. So I don't know if you guys know, the August 1st match against Bethe Correia has been turned into a 7-fight main card.
Wow, that's a huge card.
Yeah, so if you're looking for reasons, a full stack card is a reason. Yeah, definitely. And she is at the top bill on that card.
Yeah. And look, I would never say miss a Ronda Rousey fight. I'm just trying to give you my opinion, or the truth about my opinion as I see it. Watch the Ronda Rousey fights. They're always spectacular. And hey, Thanks for watching us here at The Weigh In. And don't forget to follow Mr. MMA on the Facebook, The Weigh In MMA, and live tweet with him at The Weigh In MMA during the fights. The fighters do, and a lot of other fans do, and it's a lot of fun, so check us out. And don't forget to click subscribe down there, and we'll see you next time
Yeah.
on The Weigh In.